The geographical diversity of India. To us, by its very geography, the country India appears to be quite in variety from the other countries, and that itself gives it a certain national character. This is the statement given by Sri Aurobindo. That is, we have a variety in our geography, our landforms, and that is the very specialty of our place. So this is Jog Falls in Karnataka. You can notice the plateaus and the waterfalls. So the power of the waterfalls is converted into electricity, that is hydroelectricity. Hydro means water. This is done through special wind turbines. So in this chapter, we'll be dealing with these two questions. That is, what are some key geographical features of India and how does India's geographical diversity affect or impact our lives? So in 1984, Rakesh Sharma, the first Indian astronaut to go to space. So Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian astronaut to go to space, and he spoke with the then Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. So when she asked, how does India look from space? He replied, Sare Jahan se acha, better than the whole world. So this is the well-known poem of the early 20th century. So this is how Rakesh Sharma has replied to our former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So as you go through this chapter, we have to remember to look at the physical map to understand things more clearly. So India is the 7th largest country in the world and a part of Asia. So India is the 7th largest country in the world. So our neighbors are Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka and Myanmar, and it forms a region known as the Indian subcontinent. Subcontinent since it is a part of the continent of Asia. So Indian subcontinent in the sense it is a part of the continent Asia. So often for the purpose of understanding, we refer to 5 regions. That is the Great Mountain Zone, the plains of Ganga and Indus, the desert, the southern peninsula and the islands. So we refer to all these 5 regions when we speak about the Indian subcontinent, about the physical features, the mountains, plains, plateaus. So in this chapter, we'll fly over these zones, providing you with a bird's eye view of these features and offering glimpses of what things look like in close-up at some of these places. So it could be difficult to go into all the details at this stage, since you will soon see that India is large and has a lot of variety. So we'll be seeing about all these features as an overview, because if we wanted to go deep into this, it is a very vast subject. So first we'll take an outline about all these things in this particular chapter. So the Himalayan mountain range stands as a natural barrier in the north, while the Thar Desert and the Arabian Sea mark its western limits. So to the north we have the Himalayas, and to the western limits we have the Thar and the Arabian Sea, and to the south we have the Indian Ocean, and to the east is the Bay of Bengal, which form a natural boundary for our country. So it is important to remember that in the north we have the Himalayan mountain range, and in the western limits we have the Thar Desert in the Arabian Sea, and the south has the Indian Ocean, and the east we have the Bay of Bengal, which form the natural boundaries for our country. So we have seen all the north, south, east and west. So these geographical features create a separation between India and the rest of the continent and have played a crucial role in shaping India's climate, culture and history. So all these features have an impact on India's climate, culture and our history. moving on, let us now journey together from the Himalayas to the islands in the Indian Ocean and onwards to the east of India. So the diverse colors on the map already give us a sense of the geographical diversity. So first, we'll be studying the Himalayas. That is, they form the boundary to the north. So, these are the satellite images of the Himalayan range, and the length of the range is about 2500 kilometers. So in the summer, the snow on the mountains melt and feeds major rivers such as the Ganga, Indus and the Brahmaputra. So these snow melt and they form the rivers, that is Ganga, Indus and Brahmaputra. And these rivers and their tributaries provide water for the drinking, farming and industrial use. So we already know what is tributary. So if we have a main river and some small river comes and joins into the main river, then this is known as a tributary for the main river. So the one which joins this is known as the tributary for this river. So if we have Ganga, then the tributary for Ganga would be Yamuna, because Yamuna will come and join into Ganga. And connecting with the lives of hundreds and millions of people. So these rivers provide water for drinking, farming and industrial use. Hence, the Himalayas are sometimes called the water tower of Asia. And the Himalayas are also important to many cultures and belief systems. So the mountains themselves are considered sacred, and the temples and monasteries have been built within them, attracting the monks and spiritual seekers from around the world who come to pray and meditate. So it is important to remember that the Himalayas are also known as the water town of Asia because the snow in Himalayas melt and will form major rivers, and also it is considered to be sacred and it attracts many spiritual seekers for spiritual enhancement. The Bhagirathi river, a major tributary of Ganga, originates from Gomukh, that is cow's mouth, Uttarakhand, and it is the edge of the Gangotri glacier. So this glacier is one of the largest in the Indian Himalayas, and it is considered sacred and attracts many pilgrims. Gomukh is also a popular trekking station. So next time when you see Ganga, remember its journey began there. Now we'll understand how the Himalayas were formed, and it is a very interesting story. So a long time ago, India was a part of a much bigger landmass which is called the Gondwana, where its neighbor was Africa. So long ago, India was of a part of a major landmass which is called the Gondwana. So at the same point, it broke away. At some point, it broke away and slowly started moving north. First, India's neighbor used to be Africa, and slowly it started to move towards north. So about 50 million years ago, it reached the landmass of Eurasia and collided with it. Europe plus Asia. So first we used to be a part of Africa. It used to be close to Africa. After breaking, it started moving, and 50 million years ago, it came and collided with the landmass of Eurasia. So as India pushed against Eurasia, the land between them crumpled and rose up. And this is how the carpet wrinkles when you... So that's how the mighty Himalayan mountains were formed. So basically, we were a part, our landmass was attached or near Africa. Slowly, after breaking from Africa, it started moving towards north, and it collided with Eurasia. And that is how, when these both collided, then there came some crumbles, and that is how the Himalayas were formed. Amazingly, India is still pushing wind to the Asia today, and very slowly, about 5 centimeters each year, which is much lower than the rate at which your hair grows. So even now, India is pushing into Asia about 5 centimeters every year. So this means that Himalayas are still growing taller, and just a tiny bit each year, about 5 millimeters. But over a millennium, it adds up to 5 meters. So even now Himalayas is becoming taller year by year by few millimeters. So the Himalayas are broadly categorized into three main ranges. So Himalayas are categorized into three main ranges, that is the Himadri, Himachal and Shivalik. So first we'll study about Himadri. It is also called the Greater Himalayas, are the highest and most rugged part of the range, home to the towering peaks like Mount Everest and Kanchenjunga. So this region remains snow covered throughout the year and life here is tough and there are not many human settlements there. So Himadri is Greater Himalayas and the major peaks are Mount Everest and Kanchenjunga, and it is almost snow covered throughout the year and human settlements are barely found. Next is Himachal, that is the lower Himalayas, lies south of the Greater Himalayas and have a more moderate climate allowing rich diversity and human habitation. So it has more people living than compared to the Greater Himalayas. And the popular hill stations such as Nainital, Darjeeling, Shimla and Mussoorie are located in this region. So Himachal has a lot of tourist hill stations. Next is Shivalik, that is the outer Himalayas. First is Greater, next lower and next the outer Himalayas, and form the outermost and the lowest range consisting of rolling hills and forests. And these foothills are rich in wildlife, serving as a transition zone between the Himalayas and the Gangetic Plains, also called the Northern Plains. So this is a transition zone in between the Himalayas and the Gangetic Plains, that is the Northern Plains. So here we don't find human settlements. Here human settlements will be there, and Shivalik is the transition zone between the Himalayas and the Gangetic Plains. So the traditional house construction methods in the western Himalayan region is known as Katkuni or Dhaji Dewari style of houses. So a combination of locally available stone and wood is used, which not only keeps the house warm but also resists damage in the events of mild earthquakes. So they have traditional way of building houses. So they're usually made of stone and wood which are locally available, and they keep the house warm as well as resist from mild earthquakes. So with this we have completed the Greater Himalayas part. The Himalayas part is done. So now we'll move to the cold desert of India. So the word immediately evokes an image of a hot place. However, there are some which are cold as well. So we have one in India, that is Ladakh, which is a cold place where winter temperatures drop below minus 30 degrees Celsius and there is a very little rainfall, and the landscape is rugged with rocky terrain, deep valleys and lakes such as Pangong Tso means lake. So this terrain here resembles that of the moon and hence it is called moon land. So this is the moon land found in Ladakh. And geologists explain the formation of this terrain, as we saw earlier, by the fact that mountains were folded by the Indian landmass collided with Eurasia in the same way as the Himalayas were formed. And this folded portion was a part of an ocean, and so the rocks in this area are made largely of sand and clay. Wind and rain have eroded the mountains into shapes you see in the photograph. So even under the harsh conditions, Ladakh is a home to unique wildlife like snow leopards and Tibetan antelopes, and the Ladakhi people lead a very simple life. And the region is known for its ancient monasteries and colorful festivals such as Losar and Hemas festival. So this is all about Ladakh, which is cold place but considered to be a desert. and its formation is almost similar to the Himalayas, and the people lead a simple life, and it has biodiversity even under the harsh climatic conditions. In winter seasons it goes to minus 30 degrees Celsius as well. Next is the Gangetic Plains. So as you move southwards from the Himalayas, we see the vast and fertile Gangetic Plains, which are also called the Northern Plains. So we have seen that Himalayas, we have Shivalik hills, which are the transition zone between the Himalayas and the Gangetic Plains. So these plains have been an important part of history and civilization of India, and these plains are nourished by mighty rivers originating from the Himalayas, which are providing a vital lifeline for water. So the Ganga, Indus and Brahmaputra are the river systems found in this northern plains. And along with these extensive networks of tributaries enrich the soil with minerals, making the region highly fertile and ideal for agriculture. Obviously, plains would be ideal for agriculture because they have fertile lands. So the rivers bring with them minerals that enrich the soil, enabling abundant agriculture. So the rivers are also a source for generating electricity, hydroelectricity, and a large population of India's population, a large proportion of India's population live in these plains because it is more suitable for human settlements. So the flat land of the northern Himalayas has allowed for the development of an elaborate transportation network, roads and railway network facilities, and the movement of people and goods over large areas. So as you see in the tapestry of the past chapters, the Ganga, Brahmaputra and other rivers have been used for a millennia for travel and trade as well. So we have good transportation in the plains. So with this we have completed the Gangetic Plains. Now the Great Indian Desert or the Thar. So if you move westwards, so first we have seen the north, that is Himalayas, and slightly towards the south from the Himalayas we have found the Gangetic Plains. Now moving to the west towards the Thar. So you will notice a yellowish area. So this area is the Thar, and this is how it looks. So sand dunes are formed when the wind shifts and the shape of the sand into hill-like formations. Sometimes these range as high as 150 meters also. And the Thar is a vast arid region, and most of it lies within India, spanning the states of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab and Haryana. So the span of Thar is Rajasthan, Gujarat, Punjab and Haryana. And it acts as a natural barrier due to the harsh conditions that deter the human and animal movement, including very high daytime temperatures and cold nights, as well as lack of access to water. It has very harsh climatic conditions, and people living in Thar have adopted their life in way of life to the place, and what it offers, such as the food habits, clothing and lifestyle, are suited to those harsh conditions. People have adopted to live in those places. So water is very scarce in these places, and women often need to travel long areas every day to fetch water for their families. So the traditional method for cleaning utensils is to soak them with sand until they are clean, and a little water can be used for the light rinse, and the water used for cleansing is used for purposes like watering a plant. So next time you leave the tap running, remember the people of the Thar, because it is very difficult for them to fetch water, and they take utmost care to save every drop of water. So it is our responsibility to utilize the opportunity we are provided with. And this state is very famous for its ingenious water conservation methods, including the tanka or kunds, and they are the special water collection systems that store rainwater, often for drinking purposes. So with this we have completed the Thar. Now the Aravalli Hills. So the Aravallis are among the oldest mountains in the world, some 2.5 billion years old. So Aravallis are one of the oldest mountains in the world. and the range has many peaks and ridges, and although its highest peak, the Mount Abu, which towers over 1700 meters, and most of its hills are in between 300 and 900 meters high. So, the Aravallis play a vital role in shaping the geography and climate of northwestern India. So, one of its most important functions is acting as a natural barrier that is preventing the Thar from expanding further eastwards. So, we will read about this more later. So, the Aravallis are rich in marble, granite, zinc, copper, and have supported mining and construction activities for centuries. And in fact, evidence from its ancient mines at Zawar have shown that over 8 centuries ago, Indians were the first in the world to master the delicate process of extraction of zinc. So, some 8 centuries ago, Indians were the first to master the process of extraction of zinc. So, the historic facts at Chittorgarh, Kumbhalgarh, and Ranthambore are located here. Historic forts are also located in this place. Next, the peninsular plateau. So, India has several plateaus. The most important one is the triangular peninsular area in the middle and south of the country. It is important to remember that peninsular plateaus are in the middle and south of the country. So, it is also a very old land formation since this region is a peninsula. Peninsula in the sense a piece of land that is surrounded by water on 3 sides. Peninsula means a land which is surrounded by water on 3 sides. So, it is surrounded by water, that is the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, and the Indian Ocean. So, this is the Peninsula Plateau. So, the plateau is bordered by 2 mountain ranges, that is the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. So, the Western Ghats are tall and run along the western coast like the wall, with beautiful waterfalls flowing down over their steep slides during the monsoon season. So, the plateau is bordered by both Western and Eastern Ghats, and the Western Ghats are found to be taller and run along the western coast like a wall, and they have many beautiful waterfalls, while the Eastern Ghats are lower and have smaller hills along the eastern coast. So, between these mountain ranges lies the Deccan Plateau, a vast area of flat highlands. So, in between these mountain ranges only we have the Deccan Plateau as well. Rivers like Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri flow across the plateau from west to east, and these rivers are important for farming and provide water to millions of people. So, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri flow across the plateau, that is from west to east. So, this plateau is also rich in minerals, forests, and fertile land, making it vital for India's economy. And it tilts a little to the east, so a few of the rivers of this region flow towards the Bay of Bengal, and the east flowing rivers like the Godavari, Krishna, and Mahanadi originate here, providing water for farming, industries, and hydroelectric supply. And they are also west flowing rivers, that is Narmada and Tapti too, which drain into the Arabian Sea. So we have both east flowing rivers and west flowing rivers. East flowing rivers are the Godavari, Krishna, and Mahanadi, while the west flowing rivers are Narmada and Tapti are some of the examples. So the forests on the plateau are home to many tribal communities, including the Santal, Gond, Bhaiga, Bhil, and Korku. And these tribes have variety of languages, traditions, and way of life closely connected to nature. So the tribes here found are as follows. And the tribal communities are largely spread over the states of Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, Assam, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Telangana, and Gujarat. So the plateaus are home to many beautiful waterfalls in India. So we have understood that Western Ghats have a lot of beautiful waterfalls, and in India, as rivers flow over their uneven and rocky surface. So these waterfalls are not only attract to tourists but also help in providing hydroelectric power generations and provide water for irrigation as well. So not just the tourists are attracted by waterfalls, but they have a lot of benefits, that is in providing hydroelectric power generations and provide water for irrigation purposes. So with this we have understood the peninsular plateau. Now, India's amazing coastlines. So India's coastline is dotted with beautiful beaches, rocky cliffs and lush green forests. Some beaches have golden sand while others have black rocks. Some islands have coral reefs while others are covered in thick jungles. So India's coasts are full of surprises. So the Indian coastline is over 7,500 kilometers long. So our coastline is 7,500 kilometers long. Now first we'll study about the west coast of India. So the west coast of India stretches from Gujarat to Kerala, that is passing through Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka. So most rivers here originate in the Western Ghats, flow swiftly and form estuaries, and the coastline is shaped by alluvial deposits from the south rivers, short rivers, and features coves, creeks and estuaries, with Narmada and Tapti estuaries being the largest. And the west coast has many important ports and cities, and these have been centers of economic activity for millennia. So if you have ports, we have imports and exchange, which add a lot to our economic activities. Next is the east coast. So the east coast lies between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal, stretching from the Ganga Delta to Kanyakumari. And it has wide plains and major river deltas including Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So the important water bodies like Chilika Lake and Pulicat Lake, a lagoon which is a body of water separated from larger bodies of water by natural barrier, are found here in the east coast. So the deltas are landforms formed at the mouth of the river when it deposits sediments into a large body of water. So such an ocean or lake or any other river. So over time these sediments build up and forming a triangular or fan shaped area. So the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and Mahanadi rivers create fertile deltas, making the land ideal for farming. So what is a delta? So these are the landforms formed at the mouth of the river where it deposits sediments into a larger body of water. So deltas are landforms formed at the mouth of the river when it deposits sediments into a larger body of water. Now the Indian islands. So Indian islands refer to the group of islands scattered across the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, so which form a part of India's territory. So Indian islands are those islands which are in the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. And India has two major islands, that is the Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea and Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal. So we have Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea and Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal. So these islands have a unique wildlife, beautiful beaches, coral reefs and volcanoes. So they have unique wildlife, beautiful beaches, coral reefs and volcanoes. Several ancient tribes made these islands their homes some thousands of years ago. So first, speaking about the Lakshadweep Islands. So Lakshadweep is an archipelago, that is group of islands. So group of islands are called archipelago and they are located in the Arabian Sea. So Lakshadweep is located in Arabian Sea, which is close to the Malabar coast of Kerala, and it is made up of 36 islands which are made of coral. And not all islands are inhabited by people. So India controls a vast marine area allowing for fishing, resource exploration and environmental protection. So in the Lakshadweep Islands, we have total 36 islands in total, but not all of them are inhabited by people. People are not living in all the 36. There are selectively some in which people stay. Next is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this archipelago, that is group of islands, comprises of more than 300 large and small volcanic islands, which are divided into two groups, that is the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. So basically they are divided into two primary groups, but there are many more than 500 large and small volcanic islands, and their location is very important. So they are like the outposts of India, keeping an eye on the ocean, and it is the home to a variety of flora and fauna, and the Andaman Islands are almost significant from a historical point of view, and many of our freedom fighters were jailed there under the most severe conditions in a prison complex which is called the cellular jail. So even the Andaman have historic importance, that is most of our freedom fighters were jailed there, which is called the cellular jail, and it has been preserved to remind us the tremendous sacrifices that our forefathers had made so that we could be free. So we will study about this in the higher classes more in detail about all these cellular jails and how the history of Andaman is associated with our freedom. Next, the delta in West Bengal and the Sundarbans. So as we travel back from the islands towards the east, so until now we have completed north, west and even the southern islands. Now we'll move to the east. So east side of the Himalayas via Bay of Bengal, we come to the Sundarbans. So this is located in the delta of Ganga, Brahmaputra, so and its tributaries. So this delta has a unique combination of river, sea and land. So this delta has a combination of river, sea and land, and about half of it is located in India and the rest is in Bangladesh. So this is divided into two places. First half is located in India and the rest is located in Bangladesh, and this is also a UNESCO heritage site, and the Sundarbans are home to many species including the Royal Bengal tiger. Next, moving east, that is the hills of northeast. So these hills, that is part of Meghalaya plateau, are known for their lush greenery, heavy rainfall and breathtaking waterfalls. So this region experiences one of the highest rainfalls in the world, making it rich in forests, unique wildlife and fertile land. So there is a lot of greenery in these places. So they have given us about a village which is in the East Khasi Hills of Meghalaya, which is renowned as the cleanest village in Asia. So we have in Meghalaya village which is known to be the cleanest village in Asia. So in this chapter we have read that how India has got its name as subcontinent, and it has many geographical features ranging from the snowy Himalayas to the Thar desert, and the plains are watered by a large number of rivers, and there is also a peninsular plateau with the Arabian Sea on the west and Bay of Bengal in the east, and there is diverse geographical features have created a variety of conditions with respect to soil, flora, fauna, life and economic opportunities, and honed a rich culture, and these geographical features have played an important role in shaping our civilization. So with this you have completed the chapter.